Peace and greetings. Presenting the Network of Awareness podcast radio station, providing in-depth information on society and culture in America and abroad, bringing you truth messages of inspiration, keen insight, reputable interviews, and so much more. So now, for the truth you've been waiting for, your host of the Network of Awareness podcast, Aura, the informationalist.
Yes, peace and greetings, people. Welcome to the Network of Awareness. I'm your host, owner, and founder of the Network of Awareness, Aura the Informationalist, baby. And welcome to Tightrope Tuesdays, baby. And it's Tuesday, October 26th. We're getting close to Halloween, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's October 25th, to be exact. It's approximately 6:31 p.m. I'm doing a live show today, people, because your brother from another mother is going to be interviewed on a podcast today by the name of Curiosity Chamber. So for all you people that follow me, if you get to listen to the show before 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, at that time, I'm going to be interviewed on the Curiosity Chamber podcast, and that is owned by Jay Barone. And I'm going to be on the show tonight, and what we're going to do as well is we're going to do a dual live chat on Instagram. So the brother follows me on Instagram, I follow him. He's got a great podcast show that I'm looking forward to being a guest on tonight. And I'm just really looking forward to it, because what we're going to do is not only am I going to be on his podcast, but I'm also going to be doing a live Instagram with him. So if you don't obviously get to hear his podcast, because I believe it's a pre-record, at least you can check out the Instagram tonight, which if you follow me, I'm at networkofawareness.com, the number 1. And his is at Curiosity Chamber. So any one of those platforms will be on at 8 p.m. tonight, which is about literally an hour and a half away. So this show is not going to be a long show, because I have, stuff to prepare for, and I have a scripture class that I'm going to be attending. So I wanted to make sure I get this show out, because I was supposed to do it earlier. And it's called Sugar-Coated Society Part 1. This is something that I've talked about in the past, but I never did a show about it. And it's time that I do. And something I forgot to do, let me make sure I do it here. Make sure I just put the artwork up, just so I get that out the way. And of course, I'll put, the description in there once the show is done and it's finished publishing and loading up. Now, the reason I decided to do this show is because the sugar-coated society that we live in, we're really going to see it ramp up now with these elections coming up. And I can tell you that with the elections that are here, these midterms, we're just going to see a lot of the shit show, and we're going to see it intensify. And something came into my spirit today where I just was like, here we go again. And it was when I saw a pickup truck out here in Florida, and it said the Trump train. And it just reminded me of how a lot of people had their chest popping out back during the other election before Trump got elected. And I remember how that was a very aggravating time, very irritating time. So I'm just hoping that we're not going to have another go round of that out here on steroids. But it's a great possibility. And of course, I'll deal with it accordingly, but very much not looking forward to that. Because with the sugar-coated society, which mostly is the people on the so-called left here in this country, right? There's people that are like, oh, I'm on the left, or I'm on the right. You know, it's all the same shit. But at least the people on the right have a little bit more common sense than the people on the left. That I will say. But what we're going to see is the duality and the battle of right and left. And especially when it comes to liberalism, it's on steroids right now in America. And if you've ever listened to Alpha Talk series, that's something that Brother Oxacod, that's on my network and on his personal show and on One-on-One with Oxacod, he talks a lot about liberalism. And we've been dealing with this for quite some time, to be honest with you people. We've been dealing with it for a minute now. But it's going to get worse now with these elections coming up. And of course, for those of you that live in Florida, there's a great possibility that Ron the Don DeSantis, which is our governor out here, is going to be running. Now, many of you people know that I really could give a rat's ass about who's running for president. I've never voted in my life, and nor will I ever, because, you know, presidents and people are selected to take office. Our voting is just a big illusion. And if you haven't figured that out, do the research. Do your research, because it's very important that you understand that everything is under a system of control. And the big illusion is that we have a say-so in how things are administered and controlled, which we don't. And point being is this ever-evolving sugar-coated society that we live in. I mean, we're in it. This is it. This is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with this type of stuff. And there's a rise in narcissism because of it. Heavy. And I'm seeing it grow steadily. That's why I do the narcissism series, because it's becoming a big problem in this country. And in my opinion, this type of liberalism, you have a lot of narcs with this type of mentality where I'm a tolerant liberal. And I tie liberalism into the Luciferian agenda as well, because it's the kind of almost a do what thou wilt, or let bygones be bygones and let just anything go. And ever since we've seen this rise in liberalism, we've seen a rise in transhumanism. We've seen a rise in the alphabet gang. You know what I'm talking about? Where I call them the synthetic ones, the ones that feel like the Most High got their whole entire existence wrong when it comes to their body parts and the way that they feel about themselves. We're seeing a steadily rise. And what is that doing? That's infiltrating the children. They're intruding on our children's lives. And you have a lot of dumb adults out here that are allowing it to happen. And then you got the very few that are really against this demonic agenda, the satanic agenda. But yet, as many of you know, and some of you don't know, let me put you on to some game here. One of the reasons why those people, the transplenders, the reason why they're pushing this agenda so hard is because they want to eventually push and legalize, like they've legalized all of this, abomination behavior, they want to legalize pedophilia. That's where this is leading to. That's why this sugar-coated society where everybody's becoming sensitive and people are being socially conditioned and socially engineered to have this mindset where anything goes. And like in the diagram, it says, if you don't agree with me or else, or else you're a racist, you're this, you're that, because you don't agree with me. And it's a sugar-coated society because it's like a society where everybody kind of has to walk on eggshells. Even me. Like when and the reason I say even me is because I feel like I'm walking on eggshells to a certain degree. Not that I give a shit, because I'm going to say what I want to say, but I have to say it in a certain way in order for it to get to the people I want it to get to. So even I walk on eggshells, especially knowing that, this channel that I have on YouTube, I think it got one copyright flag. But besides that, it really hasn't been messed with. I think they striked it one time since I've had it. So this is the longest account that I've had out of the multiple accounts since I started podcasting that have literally been taken down and terminated for life, for good. And it's this sugar-coated society where it's like all these platforms now have all these bullshit community guidelines where it's like, you can't talk about this and you talk about that. But yet, according to our government, we still have freedom of speech, but not really. And the reason I say I'm walking on eggshells is because I have to use all this cryptic code language just to get my point across. But you know what? I don't mind doing it because at the end of the day, this is all spiritual warfare. So I'm going to do everything that I have to do and that I can do to put up the good fight, even though the Most High has already won, but still fight the good fight in maintaining the truth and upholding the truth the best way I can with the gifts that have been given. And I impress upon you to do the same thing, because what else are we going to do? Are we going to fold up? Are we going to get mad? Are we going to go into pity mode and feeling like this country's going to shit? I mean, this country is going to shit. Let it. Why are you going to stop it? Something that was built in a manner that is self-destructive eventually has to self-destruct. This country was not built on righteous principles. And I don't know why people are so confused about that. A lot of you people that are like, America, fuck yeah, ready to save the month. It's like, get rid of that mentality. It's old. It's an illusion. This country was built on rape, torture, manipulation, slavery. I mean, you name it, any diabolical, malevolent thing you could possibly think of, this country was built off of that. So when you have a country that's built off of such negative energy, how can it possibly last? It's the snake eating its tail. It's like the serpent is eating itself. Why? Because the serpent is toxic. It's venomous. And things that are venomous and toxic can only last but for so long. And so, even like a self-destructive teenager is eventually, if they don't change their ways, they're going to wind up dying. Wind up self-destructing. And that's what this country is like. This country is like a really, really bad kid that never grew up and just stayed bad and just never repented and never did some self-examination to say, you know what, we need to do things differently. No, this country's been doing exactly what I just said earlier, and it hasn't stopped till present day. And where has it brought us to? It's brought us to this sugar-coated bullshit society that we live in. That's what it's brought us to, because that's where we're currently at. We're in a sugar-coated society where you got to be careful what you say. You got to be careful with all this stuff. And let me also say this, because this is something that I've been talking about here and there, but I'm going to bring it up. I got to see the Kanye West video or interview with Piers Morgan or whatever his name is. And I got to tell you that a lot of you people are being bamboozled and you don't even know it, because I'm telling you, give us some time to see where this goes. Everybody wants to act like Kanye West is having this epiphany, and it's not that. I'm telling you. When I see somebody like Kanye West, I see him as formidable opposition. He's no different than an Alex Jones right now. Okay. He's going to give you some truth, right? Because he's talking about he's Hebrew, he's Jew, he's not Jewish, and all this other stuff, which technically is true. But at the end of the day, why all of a sudden is he coming out with that? And why is he still worth over $120 million, like he said, that he currently has? So if he has over $120 million, then is he really like in this truth, like many of us are in, going through this constant struggle, serving the Most High, being constant servants and serving the Most High, and doing what we need to do and learning from our mistakes and our errors and our trials and tribulations? And all of a sudden, this man that's worth over $150 million or 20 that hasn't been taken away from him after all of these comments. So what that they took him off of Revolt? What I'm saying to you people is this is the same man that made a pact with Lucifer, a strong one. The same man that wound up marrying a witch that has been involved in so much stuff behind the scenes in Hollywood and in the entertainment industry. And just overall, when it comes to the Luciferian agenda, this woman has contributed heavily to it. And he has 3 kids with her. So it's like, what do you think he's doing this for? He's the opposed opposition. He's the opposed opposition that they want you to gravitate to. And it's working, because when I see people on social media and in the news and overall like circles of influence, everybody's talking about this dude like he had this big awakening and stuff. And it's like, really? Did he? Or is he really serving the Luciferian agenda by presenting himself as opposed opposition? He's the op. And he's doing it very well. And if you can't tell that he's got a couple of screws loose, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, he seems to be coherent, and he's like, oh, they're making me look crazy. No, they made you crazy. They ain't saying you are crazy. They done short-circuited him so many times that I don't even believe that is the real person. But hey, I can't wait till this all plays out, because a lot of you people that are co-signing this man, just because he got a couple of truth messages coming out of his mouth, you got to see where his affiliation is to. And you also have to understand who he really serves. When he says God, he's not talking about Yahweh Elohim. He's not talking about the Heavenly Father, our great creator of all that ever was and will be. He's not talking about that. Right? He's just not. But you people are going to see. And when it does happen, I'm going to talk about it on my show. And I'm not going to be on some like, you see, I told you so. But I am going to make reference to this, because a lot of you people out here are being misled just because this man understands some truth that's been spoken about for so long, that the fact that he's coming out with it now, I could just see through the bullshit, people. I could just see through it clear as fucking day. This is pathetic. But hey, a lot of you people, the reason why you gravitating to it is because it is a sugar-coated society. And it's a society of conformity, where now people are just going to go with the flow, man. They're not going to question nothing. Somebody said something, and then all of a sudden, literally within a matter of seconds, it becomes a fact. Nobody does any research. Nobody even tries to see if there's any validity to what somebody's saying. They just say it and it's done. It's over. It's like it's a fact now. And then they run with it. And that's what I'm seeing with this man, amongst other people too. But it's like, you got to see things with your spiritual eyes and understand that this whole entire country operates off of manipulation. And I believe that the way he's getting these interviews and then being censored, it's all part of the manipulation. This man said that he's more wealthier than George Soros, maybe spiritually to some degree, maybe talentedly, but as far as monetarily, bro, please. That's when you know it's like, this is some buffoonery, man. It's some buffoonery. But a lot of you people that are stuck on complexion, y'all stuck on that complexion heavy, man. And the information has already come out that complexion and calling each other black, white, brown, yellow. These are all social constructs that was given to us by the enemy to believe in. Why? To keep you further away from straying away from the truth, which is the Most High, which is the Messiah, Christ, the only begotten Son, Yahweh. Like a lot of y'all are getting yourselves twisted over the truth. And it just reminds me of how pastors and elders of different camps and congregations, they use the word to fit their narrative. And he's using the truth to create a narrative for you to get distracted and attracted to. That's all it is. And when I see stuff like this with what's going on with Kanye, there's always something else that we're not seeing that they're doing because we're giving so much attention to this. And this being some freaking dude that sold his soul for a Happy Meal, and now all of a sudden we're acting like he's a saint. It's like, please give me a break. But hey, this is the conforming society here in America that we live in, and it's pretty pathetic if you ask me. But you see, one thing that keeps me uplifted is the fact that I know that the Most High has already won. All of this to me is just a spiritual formality, and I'm just going to play my part and become the best version of what the Most High intended me to be in the first place, and work every day to being more Christ-like, because the Messiah left an example for us to live. So I can't get caught up in all the bullshit, because when it comes to the spiritual warfare, we're always going to be attacked, but it's how we respond to the attacks that helps us to grow spiritually. And I can tell you that when I see this interview and I see this man, you know, when he was on Drink Champs, so it's like I see right through the whole entire, that opposition that he's creating and making people believe that he's all of a sudden woken into this truth. But it's all a big lie, people. But because we live in a sugar-coated society, people just like to gravitate to sensationalism, especially people that are oppressed. So when people are oppressed, like the melanated man and woman in this country for hundreds of years, all right, hundreds and hundreds